Welcome to Talk to Us. We are very happy that you are joining us for a special session today. We have Ray Morantz, and he is from the Xerces Friends group, and he has a very special knowledge about what is behind me, which is a butterfly, and it's a specific kind of butterfly. And in today's class, we're going to be learning about this butterfly and other types of insects in your different countries that are important for the ecosystem. So, Ray, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. I am an ecologist who studies butterflies and other pollinators, and I work to conserve them. So I work on biology and conservation of butterflies and pollinators. And I live in Oklahoma, which is just north of Texas in the United States.
So we wanted to start with a very quick question. Ray, do you want to ask it since you created it?
Sure. I am curious. What was the first insect species you learned about as a child? Can you describe it to us?
Yes, the first insect I know are the bees. The bees is a very important insect for Uruguay, for the honey.
Is it a flying insect, or I'm not familiar with the name, but is it flying? What is it called?
Yes, the bees, the honey, the bees make the bees. We have long times ago many bees in Uruguay.
Honeybees.
Honeybees.
Yes, honey. Yes, honeybees. Here in Uruguay, we have species, African species, but more European species. And nowadays, this population decreased by a lot. I don't know why, but I suppose by the I don't know, the pesticide or other.
Right, there's different reasons.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll share some.
Or the climate, I don't know, but are very important insects.
Okay, it is difficult to say that what was exactly the first insect that I know, but there are many insects that I remember in my childhood, and one of them, and one of the most beautiful, was this butterfly, and that was maybe not surely the first insects that I knew, and I remember that I followed them. They were so much amazing and beautiful for me at time.
Wonderful. So we have butterfly, we have honeybees. Helen, would you like to share from China what you saw as a child?
When I was very young, I think the butterfly we saw in the countryside, but I didn't know the name. But one butterfly I would like to share is very rare in the world. The name is called golden Kaiser eye hind. I think Ray, the expert in insects in butterfly area, know this. It is endemic species in China, possibly found in Vietnam too. Distributes in like only 7 provinces of south part in China, and live in above 1,000 meters of sea level, above sea level of 1,000 meters of heavy forest environments, where large broad leaves offer camouflage such as coniferous evergreen forests. But before 1984, till 1984, we found this kind of butterfly. I think before 1984, only one specimen kept in Royal History Museum in London.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's very rare.
as I was living in a desert area, so the most insect I remembered is the scorpion.
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah,
dangerous.
yeah. As in
Okay.
the Arabian desert, so there is a lot of scorpion there, and we found a lot of them when we are children.
Wonderful.
I remembered from my childhood, I bought from a store beside my school kind of insects called silkworms. It can make strands of silk. I put it in a small box and I give her leaves, and I wait to make a silk, but it's dead. And at the end, it not make. It's called silk. It make strands of silks.
Oh, wow. You were gonna make your own clothing out of that silkworm. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
now maybe you know they need special leaves, right? I went
Okay.
to the Silk Museum in China when I was there a couple of years ago, and they have a very interesting display there of the silkworms and how they make the silk.
Well, Ray,
Thank
can you teach us about monarch butterflies and ecology and conservation? We're here to learn today with you. We're ready. We're on ecology. Tell us, Ray, what is
Excellent.
ecology?
Well, ecology is the study of living things and their interactions with their environment. So, like this graphic shows you, the living things are the plants, in this case in the ocean, or the plants on land, plus the fish and the birds and the mammals. And then, of course, the sunshine and the water, that's all part of the environment. So ecology is studying the interactions of these things. So I am an ecologist. I'm a scientist who studies ecology.
What are
A species.
species?
What is a species? Yeah, it's, believe it or not, it's a complicated topic. Some people spend their whole careers arguing about species. A species is a type of living thing with many individuals that are similar and can reproduce. So right now we're looking at 3 pictures of one species, the monarch butterfly. And those are all pictures I took in my yard. This photo, of course, is showing 3 different species. They are very different, very obviously different. An orange one, a black one, and 2 yellow butterflies. An ecosystem, I find ecosystem to be a very important word. An ecosystem is a type of land area or water body that has the same plants and animals. So here we see 2 photos of one kind of ecosystem, the grassland ecosystem of the United States. These 2 photos look a lot alike. There are no trees in these photos. There's lots of grass and there's lots of flowers. In fact, we see some of the same flowers in each photo. Orange flowers on the left and some orange flowers on the right. That's the same plant, same species. But these 2 photos were taken 600 kilometers apart. So this is the grassland ecosystem of the central US. Now you're looking at 2 different ecosystems, grassland on the left, forest on the right. So of course, the butterfly I work on the most, the monarch butterfly, a species of insect with orange and black wings. It is also a pollinator. That is one of its jobs, one of its roles in life. What are pollinators? Pollinators are animals that carry pollen from one plant, flower, to another of the same species so that seeds will be produced. apple trees need pollinators to produce apples. Squash, watermelon, zucchini, tomatoes, so many of the things we eat need pollinators. So here is a video. Armin, let's give it a try.
Moment of truth. I'm going to show a short video that Ray has taken of these beautiful pollinators. And we're going to see what is the life of a pollinator like. Where is this video taken, Ray?
This video is from Oklahoma, 4 miles from my house. And if you see little things moving around, there are actually hundreds of bees and butterflies. Hundreds of them, all at one time. It was a very special day. And the bees and the butterflies are visiting the flowers and feeding. So those bees and butterflies were carrying pollen from one flower to another. And by doing that, that enables the plants to produce seeds. So without pollinators, our plants would have no seeds. Many of our vegetables would not grow. Most of our fruits would not be produced.
I noticed some of the butterflies were the same color as the flowers.
Yes, yes. We have lots of yellow flowers in Oklahoma and lots of yellow butterflies.
Does that help them to hide?
Yeah, yes, it does. It does help them hide. Now I'll talk about the butterfly life cycle. There are 4 stages of the butterfly life cycle: the egg, caterpillar, pupa, and adult. All 4 of those stages are necessary for the life of a butterfly.
There you go.
Excellent. So what is a caterpillar? A caterpillar is a young form of butterfly, the second stage of the life cycle. It looks like a worm, but it has many legs. Monarch caterpillars specialize on one species of plant. They specialize. What does specialize mean? To specialize means to do a specific activity really well. So monarch caterpillars specialize on eating milkweed plants. There are thousands of plants in the United States, but the only plants that monarch caterpillars eat are milkweed plants. Milkweed is a type of plant in North America that has white juice inside the leaves. There are also milkweeds in Mexico and in South America and in Africa. And there are probably some milkweeds in Asia too. And now there are even milkweeds in Australia. But they're plants with white juice inside. And the caterpillars eat these plants. So, what is nectar? Nectar is sweet liquid found inside the flowers. And that's what the adult butterflies need to eat. They eat nectar. Some other creatures eat nectar too. Bees eat nectar. Okay, importantly, we need to talk about habitat. Habitat is the ecosystem or ecosystems or part of an ecosystem that a species lives in. So I have photos here of 3 ecosystems: grassland, forest, whoops, I didn't mean to.
I got it.
Thank you. And on the right, we have something called swamp. Swamp is a very English word, wet forest. Swamp is just a forest with a lot of water down at the bottom. Monarchs use these and other ecosystems as their habitat. Whereas whales and sharks use the oceans as their habitat. Another important thing about monarchs that is very amazing, they migrate. They travel to a new place to live. So monarchs in Maryland, where Jill lives, and Armin, where do you live?
New York.
New York. Monarchs in New York, where Armin lives, and in Maryland, where Jill lives, and in Oklahoma, where I live, in September and October, they fly south to Mexico, to the state of Michoacan, Mexico. On the other hand, monarchs in the western United States migrate to California, to places near San Francisco and Santa Barbara, and even Los Angeles, along the coast. So let's show this video. This video is pretty cool.
It's fine, we can see it.
Well, this is a video I took in Mexico with my cell phone. It's a low quality video. You can find much better videos of monarch butterflies on the internet. But I wanted to show you that I have been there. I have been to Mexico to see the butterflies. And it was maybe the most amazing day of my life. I saw millions and millions of monarch butterflies, all in the same forest in Mexico. It is truly spectacular. Unfortunately, monarchs are becoming less abundant. Monarchs east of the Rocky Mountains are decreasing in number. And this graph shows the numbers going down, down, down. These are the monarchs that go to Mexico. There are fewer monarchs than in the past. But the monarchs that go to California have decreased by over 99% in 3 years. That is really bad. That is terrible. Guess how many are left? Less than 2,000 monarchs are left in California. So, endangered is a word used to describe a species of animal or plant that has become very rare and that could die out or disappear completely. And this is a photo, actually a video, but we won't show the video. This is a video of bison near my home in Oklahoma. 100 years ago, there were very few bison because they had been killed for their meat. So bison were endangered. They were very, very rare. Now we have more than 100 years ago, but still less than 200 years ago.
Right. And Helen was talking about in her country how the butterfly, I can't remember the name of it, is more endangered than the panda, but we hear only about the panda. So it's interesting. I'm sure everyone's country has animals or insects that are endangered.
Yes.
The Kaiser golden swallowtail, I think it was.
Thank you, Jill.
I need to learn about that one.
Golden Kaiser, yeah.
Golden Kaiser.
Kaiser.
Some people think that the monarch butterfly is endangered. What do you think?
So Ray has shared incredible facts about the situation. Do you think that the monarch butterfly is endangered?
I think what we evident in the 2 years ago in Iran was billions of these butterflies in Iran, and that was the spring with a lot of the rainy spring of Iran, and we saw billions of these butterflies. And I don't know they migrated or not, and I have no idea about being endangered. but this is what we all Iranian saw it 2 years ago.
Afshin, I will look that up on the internet. I want to learn what butterfly that is. Was it large or small?
It was the painted lady.
Jill, you're so good.
No, it was marked by a butterfly. Yeah, colorful one.
I found an article in Al Jazeera about it. Drop it in there.
It sounds like you didn't have, it's not endangered. There was a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
not
That
endangered.
was what we saw here.
You know, in Taiwan, we are also used to be called Butterfly Kingdom. So that was, a long time ago. I don't know whether I'm not specialized in the insect scientist. I'm not also either an ecologist. I'm just an English teacher, but I'm interested about introducing this conservation animal for my students. Recently, I just studied my country. For example, the black bear. So I spent time to research on this mammal animal, but just like Armin used to, or Helen say that we spend too much attention, little attention on the little insects. So I think after today's lesson, I will, spend more time to focus or pay attention to these insects in my country. So I'm not sure whether you have seen the swallowtail butterfly. It's really beautiful here. Can you see that? Oh, they saw it's called swallow broadtail butterfly. It's it's also the wings are beautiful. So they are also infected by the global warming. But I just remember that in my country, people used to catch butterfly as the bookmark, you know. So I just read some news that they were people. I mean, before in Taiwan, lots of people catching the butterfly to as a business. So there are some reason that human behavior, to kill this butterfly. So right now, people don't do this already. Before I end it, I have a question to ask because usually in the wild there are many butterfly. Just wonder that because they are also insect, we call moths, right? So how can you tell? I mean, sometimes difference from butterfly and moth. And I have been told that there are some moths they are poisonous. They are then okay. So I just want to ask you about how do you tell the butterfly from the moth, the species? Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. That I loved learning about your butterflies in Taiwan, and your questions are terrific. Butterflies and moths are closely related, but as most of you know, butterflies are usually out in the day. Most moths are out at night, but that is not always true. Butterflies are usually pretty colors. Most moths are dull colors, like gray and brown, but some moths are really beautiful. When I went to Ecuador in South America, I saw moths in the daytime that had the colors of the rainbow. They were amazing. Another way to tell them apart, butterflies have antennae with little round balls at the end. If you've looked close at a butterfly, you've seen the antennae. Moths' antennae are more like feathers, usually.
Oh.
There are some other differences with their anatomy, with their body, that I cannot describe very well. But those were some of the differences.
So human, but I think for insect protection, human have still managed to make an immense impact on insect survival by destroying the environment. So we need to take actions to protect them, including monarch butterfly and the golden Kaiser eye hind. Hope our next generations can still see them in the nature, not just in the museums or in the pictures.
Helen, I agree with you. In my organization, the Xerces Society, that is our mission. Our mission is to work to conserve the butterflies, but also the bees that make honey, and the bumblebees, the big bees, the small bees, all of the insects, and the other creatures like insects. We want to save them because they are so important for our environment. Without these little creatures, the world would not work. We need little creatures to go out and eat the dead animals that are lying in the fields. We need little creatures to burrow in the soil to make our soil better. We need insects to, again, pollinate our crops. There are so many good reasons to have insects and other little creatures. So we work to conserve them and save them. I want to ask, does anybody know of ecosystems in their country that are being destroyed? Can somebody tell me about ecosystems in their country that are being destroyed?
Okay, in my country, Nepal, there's more than 600 species of butterfly. Okay,
Excellent.
and while seeing the data of the vanishing butterfly is very disappointing. I think to protect, to avoid from vanishing, we need to protect their habitat. Okay, and also we have to take care of milkweed or nectar so that we can protect from vanishing. Okay, and
I agree.
and I have a questions. So you say that the number of it decreasing yearly. Okay, then how do you count the population of the butterfly, or how you monitor so that you show the data or people show the data? How can you count the butterfly? And last your question said, in my ecosystem, so-called modernization, people are not caring of the environment. They are destroying the jungles, forest, and the wetlands. So I think that's the problem, decreasing the insects in my country.
You know, those are wonderful questions, wonderful comments and wonderful questions. You asked, how do we count the butterflies? Well, amazingly, just last week, I saw a webinar on how to do that. And it was delivered by my friend, Alfonso. Alfonso is from Mexico. And Alfonso lives in Washington, D.C. now. But he travels to Mexico to help count the butterflies. And it's complicated. There are so many butterflies in Mexico that what they do is they measure the area of forest covered with butterflies in hectares, the number of hectares of butterflies. And they've decided that 1 hectare is about 20 million butterflies, and they measure the hectares. So that's the first question. In California, there are many fewer butterflies. And the Xerces Society, my organization, we simply count every one. And this year we counted 1,914 butterflies in California. Mexico still has millions. California has less than 2,000.
So I'm in biology education. I learn about biology, but I have to educate people about conservation. And my question is how to persuade people to conserve our nature, especially about butterflies and all living things in our nature.
That's a fantastic question, Anita. Thank you very much for the good work you are doing. I think it's important to show people how beautiful butterflies and other insects are. And I've seen amazing photographs of bees, up close photographs that show the details of the legs and the eyes of the bee. It's really very amazing. But also we need to show people and tell people how important bees and butterflies and other insects are for our lives. Pollinators help produce billions of dollars worth of food every year, billions and billions of dollars all over the world. Again, without those pollinators, we don't have good apples or tomatoes or blueberries, strawberries, so many wonderful fruits and vegetables. And it would be a disaster if we lose our pollinators. So I think that's an important thing to tell people.
Ray, when I was reading about it, it's an industry. It's of millions, if not billions of dollars, right? Food. So
billions with a B.
I read it's billions of dollars or whatever currency your country uses, and it's thanks to these very small insects like bees and butterflies that we are able to eat. We forget it, right? Let's do the wheel. Okay, are you ready? This should work. So I'm going to share my screen. We've created a very short and fun game for vocabulary. I will spin this wheel, and it will land on a word, and you will raise your hand and say the word in a sentence. Okay? First word, conservation.
Worldwide from WWF is the conservationist organization.
Okay, thank you, Binod. Word. Pollinators. Please use the word pollinators in a sentence for us.
Pollinators are extremely important to the process of pollination in the flowers and to preserve ecosystems.
Yeah, pollinators are insects which move the pollens from one, for example, one flower to another.
Great, let's go to the next word. Almost there. Specialize. Specialize.
Bees are specialized in pollination.
Pollinization. Bees are specialized. Binod, go ahead.
Our chief guest has specialized in butterfly studies.
He is a specialist. Yes, Afshin.
Yes, that's correct.
He's a specialist. Last one. Habitats. All right, habitats is our last word.
Yeah, habitats of many animals in Iran are endangered, unfortunately, because of developing the cities and structures.
Hey.
Sorry to hear that. Very good answer, but I'm sorry to hear that.
It's similar to the United States. It's one of the reasons the butterflies are also endangered.
And also because of the human manipulation in the nature and environment.
Climate change. The butterflies don't know when it's hot or cold, right? Because of the changes in weather, they don't know where to go, when to go. I read that. Well, it has been wonderful to spend this time with Ray. So we want to thank Ray and the Xerces Society for helping connect and teach us. So thank you, Mr. Ray Morans, for bringing your wonderful experience. Do you want to share your last words with all of our listeners?
Yes, I wish I could do this every week. You guys are really great.
Well, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Dr. Jill. Thank you, all the wonderful participants from around the world. We will see you very soon. Thank you once again.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.